Hello everyone, welcome to MeanLifeStudies. In the previous video, we have seen how to create a data frame by considering a sample data set, right? By considering a sample employees information, we created a data frame. And also, if you observe, we created with the different use cases like creating a data frame without having any column names and creating a data frame with a column names and also creating a data frame with our own schema we define, right? So that is how we created a basic data frame, right? And if you observe, we just consider a employees information like list of employees information in tuple format. But there are different use cases are there in considering data set, and we'll discuss all in later videos. Okay, for now if you observe, we just created a data frame, and some people are asking like, will this cluster is going to charge us? No. So this is a community edition, this is a free edition, so that it will allow us to use one driver, I mean one compute it will be allowing. So now if you observe, go to compute, and this session, I mean before, this is the computer I have used in the last session, but now that was expired, right? That is terminated after 1 or 2 hours. It's going to terminate it. Now I have just created one more cluster. Now you can see here, I'm just clicking on it. Now if you observe, these are the details. So this community edition will provide only one driver with different features, like this is the features, like this is the compute resource. So that is 15.3 GB memory and 2 cores is going to provide us, and this is for only one compute it's allowing us to create, but we cannot create one more. So this is the only compute that we can use it. Okay, and even if you try to create one more, it won't allow us to create it. Now you can see here, I'm just entering into notebook. Now if I try to create one more, this is the current notebook I have attached to this one. Now if I try to create new resource, and if I try to create something here, now you can able to see the error. So you have reached the maximum number of available compute resources attached to the existing compute resource instead. So now it is asking us to attach the compute whatever the currently available. So even you can add the same compute for any number of notebooks. Here I'm just creating one more notebook. Now you can see you can add that existing cluster to this resource, I mean that resource to this notebook. You can do it, no problem. But when you are trying to create one more, it won't allow. This is a community edition, only one is going to provide us. Okay, but in case of if you upgrade your subscription, you can also create multiple clusters. You can also select any number of executors you want. That option will be provided, but you have to pay as you go. Okay, so when you upgrade it to different subscription model. But now as far as learning purpose, many people are going to use this community edition because of it is a free, right? So we can use these resources to learn all, I mean to write all scripting. Okay, for now this is the reason that community edition is providing us a free resource, so that we can use this edition for free. Okay, and now if you observe, in the last video we have created a data frame, right? And that is one of the use case. Let's see now. And even if you want to run all, you can just go to this run button, just click on run, and just click on run all. So every cell will be started executing from the beginning. Okay, now if you have just started executing, everything got executed, right? So now if you look at this data frame, whatever the data frame that we created, that is data underscore df, right? So you have to show, I mean you have to use the show button. Now you can see this is the action that we are triggering at. Now this is the data frame we just created. Okay, so PySpark is very simple if you understand SQL, right? So just understand this is the table you have. So what are the things you are doing in SQL? So you just created a data, I mean you just created a table, and if you want to add one more column, what you can do? So there are, what is the basic commands we have in SQL? So in SQL we have DDL, DML, DRL, right? And then TCL and TCL. For now, just remember, we just created a data frame with the help of create command, right? I mean, creating the data frame. So assume in SQL also you created a table. So after that, what you are doing, you will be, if you want to add one more column, you are going to add a column with the help of alter command. Or even if you want to drop a column, you can drop a column. Or if you want to retrieve any data you want, you are going to retrieve any column also, you can retrieve with the help of select command. That is a DRL, right? Or else even if you want to update also, you can update it, right? So these are the different use cases that we can compare with the SQL. The same thing we are going to perform in this video using PySpark script. Okay, let's see first what we can do now. So I'm just, you can see here, click on code, so that you'll be getting one more cell. So I'm just clicking on it. Now you can see here, right? So now here there is a Python is there, right? So now I want to mark down it here. So now you can see here, I'm just clicking on markdown, so that it will allow us to write some headlines, sub headlines. Okay, now you can see different options you can able to see here. Now I'm just using use case 1, or you can also mention just one, adding columns. Okay, now you can see here, if I execute, you will be getting like this. or else even if you want to have the bold also, you can just mention entire just like this. Okay, sorry, adding columns, and for the entire I'm just selecting. Okay, it is not selecting for the entire. Okay, now you can see if I just execute this one, now you can able to see adding columns, right? So now we are going to add a columns to any column, one or two, for the existing data frame. Okay, so how we can do that? So data underscore df, right? So now we are going to use with the column of. So you can see here it's recommending, everything will be recommended, so you should not do manually, so always go through the this recommendation. Okay, so there is with column option is there. I'm just clicking on it. Now if I click on it, you can see here, and before that, even if you want to look at the data, you can see here I'm just using data underscore df dot select command. So this select command is nothing but retrieval command only. So select of id, whatever the columns you want, I'm just returning it. Okay, I'm just using show button. Now you can see here it's going to return whatever the column that you are trying to return. So this is the select command. We are just looking at the data, that is with help of drl, data retrieval command. Now you can see here these are the two columns that we are trying to look at. So even if you want to return any number of columns also, you can mention a salary, and make sure that the column name has to be the same. Okay, even if you mention like different column, it won't return because it will be returning different errors. Now you can see here I'm just using location, but location is not existing, right? So if you observe a column or the function parameter location cannot be resolved. Did you mean one of the following, age, department, this one? No, here location is not existing in this particular data frame, so that's why we cannot able to return that. Okay, I'm just removing this one. Now you can see we are trying to return three more columns, I mean three columns, that is id, name, and this one. So even if you want to store this as a data frame, you can store it, no problem. You can just mention like data 1 underscore df. Okay, so that this will be stored. Now you can see here data 1 dot underscore df, we are just looking at it. You can see now we created one more data frame with the help of the existing data frame. That is from data underscore df, we just selected three columns like id, name, and salary. We created one more data frame, that is data 1 underscore df. Even if you look at here also, you will be getting that data 1 underscore df dot show. So this is another data frame we have created. Okay, I hope you understood. So this is how whatever the columns you want to select, you can do it, and then you can save, I mean you can store back to any other data frame you want. Okay, that is how we are retrieving the data. And now for now, if you observe what we are doing, so we are going to use, I mean we are going to adding a columns now. So this use case with help of with the column, whatever the column name you want. Okay, I'm just adding location column, and after that what is the value that you want to add to this column, right? So here you are trying to adding a column name of location for this existing data frame, that is data underscore df. What is the value you have to pass it? I'm just using here directly Hyderabad. Okay, now you can see how it's going to return. You can see here what is the error. The outbound call should be a column got str. So here you need to ensure that this is the column name under which this is the value that you are trying to pass, right? So we cannot pass directly, so that's where we have different functions are there. Let's see here, I'm just removing it. So you can see here call, so there is a call is there, right? So call equal to, so here this is the column name under which we are going to passing the value for it. What is the value? I'm not passing anything. Okay, just you can see here I'm not passing anything like this. You can see now again it's returning error. So we cannot pass like this. Here if you want to pass the values, there is a function is there, that is lit command is there. Now you have to import it first. So there is a function from PySpark.sql module, from PySpark.sql.functions. There is a functions are there. From this function we are going to import lit. So when you are trying to directly importing, I mean directly adding a value to that particular column, whatever the column that you are adding, you have to import this lit command. Okay, now with the help of lit command, you can see here it's recommended. So lit of, I'm just using none. So none means null value only. Okay, so here what we are trying to do, so this is the data frame, existing data frame, and for that we are adding a column with the name of location, and then what is the value that we are passing for that particular column? None is nothing but null value. Okay, so let's see here, we just created this one. Now if you look at this one like using show button, now you can see now we just added one more column, that is location, under which we have all our null values. right? So now this won't be replicated because we are not assigned back to our original data frame, right? So just for looking purpose, I'm just using this one. Now if you want to store it back to your data frame, you have to use data underscore df equal to this one, so that you have to remove this one. Now you can see here, I'm just looking at here data underscore df, I'm looking at, now you can see this is permanent action now. So this location was added to our existing data frame, that is data underscore df now, right? And these values are all are null values, right? And this is how, if you want to add directly values, you have to use lit command and lit of whatever the data that you want to add it. Not only done, you can also add, I mean, you can also refer the existing columns also. You can also use the your own data also. Here, let's see now. So now this is how we created. Let's see now. So data underscore df dot with column of, here what I'm trying to do, salary. So and for this salary, I'm just using call equal to call of, you can see here, I'm just looking it, we are not changing anything, right? So call of, you can see here, call equal to, we are not using lit command or something, we are just using call. This is one of the function, right? So without importing this one, it's going to return errors. We'll see that also here. Call of whatever the column that you want to refer, I'm just using the same column salary. So what's going to happen? You are trying to return one more column, that is with column of salary. If already existing with the same name, the same in the same column only, this action will be takes place. Whatever the action that you are trying to perform. Okay. So now you can see if I try to execute, that's going to return error. You can see what is the error? Struct type object is not callable. Here, first and foremost, we have to import the call first. Let's see here. I'm just adding from PySpark.sql.functions import call. Okay, first we are trying to import it and then we'll perform this action. Okay, so now importing this call. Now if you observe, this is the data frame we have and with column of the existing, right? And now we are performing this one. Now I'm just directly looking at the data. Now with the help of show button, you can see. So what you're getting, you're not getting anything, right? So whatever the data existing, you're getting the same only, right or wrong? And we have not changing to original data frame anything, because you can see here, I'm not doing anything, we are just looking at the data. Now even if you want to see here by adding salary 1, and for that, what is the value you are trying to perform? What is the value here? Call equal to column of salary column only. So this is the reference column that you are trying to perform, I mean trying to add to the same column, I mean this column. So how it's going to happen now? For this data frame, you are going to adding one more column like this, salary 1 column, and for that, what are the values? And you are referring the same salaries. Now you can see, you will be getting one more column, that is salary 1 column. Now you can able to observe, and for this column, you are replicating the same salary column only. Even if you want to update this also, you can just use it here, multiplication by 1.1, so that this salary got updated by 10%. Now you can see here, you can see now what you're getting. So this salary is normal salary and this is the updated salary, right? And you added it, but remember, you have not changed, you're not changing all into your original data frame until unless if you're assigning it, right? So now even if you want to assign this as any other, now you can see here, I'm just using call equal to this one, right? And dot alias of, I'm just using updated salary. You have to ensure the closing the all brackets. Now you can see if I execute this one, you can see now it's not replicating, it's not replicating now. So let's see why it is so. So let's see here, column of this one, just use alias of this button, and this is not replicating now. So let's see, and I'm just removing it here itself, and for now I'm just using only show button. Okay, and even if you want to replicate it, let's see here, I'm just using data underscore df dot select of, here if you observe, we have not changing into original. So even if you want to do that, you can just mention data underscore df equal to, so that this salary column will be added permanently to the existing data frame. You can see now, so we have changed. So even if you want to look at that, you can see here data underscore df and show. You can see what is error. So because of previously we have added show button, so that's why it is not going to consider. So if you are facing the same issue, go back to your data frame and try to create your normal data frame, or else you can just run all, because we have used show button directly when we are assigning. You should not do that. and now it's going to execute it. Now if you observe, this is our original data frame. We added one more column, that is salary one column, with the addition of, with increment of 10%, right? So now if you want to change that column name, you can just mention df underscore, like data underscore df with column of, you can see with renamed column also, you can able to see here with renamed column, with column renamed, you can see here. So with column renamed option also there, like here salary 1 comma, what is the updated, so I'm just changing that to updated salary. Okay, now I'm just clicking on show button. Now you can see how it's going to change. You can able to see here with the help of with column rename, this got changed, right? So even if you want to store it back to your data frame, you can just mention data underscore df equal to this one. And if you observe, we are using show button. No, you should not do that. Okay, so always try to prefer to use normally. Now you can see here we have executed, and now you are getting the same issue, and that's how you have to go back to your original data frame and try to execute all. You should not do that. Always try to show after, when you are assigning back to your data frame, you should not use show button. Now you can see here we created, right? So now I'm just using storing back to, let's see now, for if you look at this one, data underscore df dot show directly, is that name replicated or not? You can see now it's not replicating, because you are not assigned back to your original data frame, right? So you have to assign back to your original data frame, like data underscore df equal to this one, and then you have to see, you can see here replicated. Now if you look at this one, that updated salary will be updated. Now you can see this is a permanent change, we changed it, right? This is the column. So what we have done in this video, we have just added a column with updation of reference of the salary with increment of 10%, and we have changed that column name to any other column. You can also change it to any column you want, right? So here that is how we have used with the column of salary and reference of existing salary, and after that we have used with the column renamed of existing, like salary one, where is that, here. So with column renamed, with the help of this command, we have changed our column name, right? So this is how you can do it. And also now how we can drop a column also. So we have added this one permanently, we can also drop it. So let's see here. So data underscore df dot drop off, so there is a drop, so drop off whatever the column that you are trying to drop, updated salary. Okay, so now if I observe, try to execute this one, you can see drop. So even if you want to look at here itself, use show button, you can see now. So okay, here why it is so updated underscore salary. So let's see, I'm just using this one. Okay, so let's see now. You can see now it's deleted, because before it might be spelling mistake or something. Now you can see it's deleted. But if you observe, we have not stored back to our original data frame. So now still we'll be getting that updated column here. We have not changed to original data frame because of we have not assigned back to original data frame now. So if you want to do that, you can just mention data underscore df equal to this one, so that okay, now if you observe, we have used show button there now, that's the problem. So always try to remember, you should not use show button directly. Okay, so if you'll execute this one, you'll be getting error. You can see the same error. Okay, now I'm just going and refreshing and running all. Now you can see here drop, and if you observe, there is no updated column like updated salary, permanently be deleted. So this is how you can add a column, and then you can drop a column also. And if you observe, what are the things we have observed now in this video? We just added a column. Even if when you're adding a column, you can directly add a value also with the help of lit command. Or else you can also refer any existence column also, and you can perform any operation you want. Like we added updated column as updated salary with increment of 10% from the existing salary column, right? And now if you observe, there is no data for this one, right? Let's see how we can update that. So data underscore df dot with column of, so already location column existing na. So now for that I'm just using call equal to call of. So if you want to use any other column name, I'm just using name column. So what's going to happen for this name column, these all names will be replicated, and we have not changing our original data frame, we are just looking at it. Okay, so that's why I'm just using show button here. Now we can see here how it's going to return. If you observe, we are just referring the existence column of name for the location column, so that's why we are getting it, right? So and we are just looking at it, we are not changing our original data frame na? So now you can also use a lit of whatever the data you want. I'm just using Hyderabad. Okay, so now if you observe, this Hyderabad value will be allocated for the all records. You can see now. So this is how, if you want to pass the direct values, you are going to use lit command. Or else, even if you want to pass the value for a particular condition, like case when statements, we have covered case when statements in SQL. Na? Same thing, you can pass different values as per different conditions also. That we are going to see in the next video. Okay, I hope you understood. So in this video we have seen a different use cases with adding a different columns and dropping a different columns, and we have used, we have imported lit command to directly adding a value when you are adding a column also. And if you observe, we have not changing to back to original data frame. So if you want to do that, you have to use data underscore df here, and here you have to assign back to your original data frame, right? So now you can see this column will be added permanently, that is location column, under which we have Hyderabad location. Now here also, wherever you can see here data underscore df, that will be the permanent, like Hyderabad location we have added now. You can see here